Hey everyone, this is Papo Morales. Sorry about the delay. You're waiting on a phone call, and just happens to they happen to call right before you're supposed to go live. So apologize for a little bit of a delay, but here we are. I encourage you to go to formtowin.com. You can find out more about the app. You can download the app from the website itself and download it onto your PC, or you can go to your Apple Store or your Google Play Store and also download the app. And once you download the app, I encourage you to create an account, which is just an email and a password. And then by doing that, you'll get 2 free races every day to analyze some of these races, as well as 2 days of all the historical data. So you can go back through and play around with the filters and see if you would have ended up finding the winner using Form to Win. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about today, actually just recap Hong Kong from this morning. Form to Win did very well. Found some price horses, not in every race now, but in a couple of them. So we'll start here, and I'll just leave my face on here for right now, just because I'm not gonna put any filters in Form to Win, I don't believe, to analyze some of this data. I'm just going to go off the raw data from Form to Win. So when you log into Form to Win, if you want to get to the Asia Pacific racing regions, you click on this More button here, and you just click on Subscriptions, and click on Asia Pacific, and that will give you the Hong Kong data, the Australian data, and the UK data, and that's all available for free. So you click on that to change regions, and then we'll go back to the US here in a bit. But once you do that, here I'll show you what it's going to show. It's going to load all the races. So you have the past 2 days of historical data, and then you have the today's races that have already gone off, and then tomorrow's entries also. But we'll go to today, and we'll go to Happy Valley. And the first thing that you're going to want to do when you come into Form to Win is click the Analyze button. And then you're going to see a lot of information up here. These are the titles of your columns or rows. And some of this information, honestly, probably not going to need. And the more you play around with Form to Win, the more that you'll get accustomed to what you like using. So what I like to do is go ahead and go in and take out the things that I don't particularly want to look at. So I'll just take out those. And then click Analyze again, and as you can see, we're looking at less data. And you want to sort the data specifically for since we're talking about Hong Kong. I mean, really, we're only focusing on average Form to Win time and best Form to Win time. And I think the angle here, and what we've been told from some of our users, is if you look at the top 3 horses that are either average or best, you can kind of narrow down who's going to be the most likely winner. And we haven't even taken into account jockeys. I don't know enough about the Hong Kong racing circuit to know about jockeys, but if you find a jockey on a prize horse too that fits on Form to Win, our friend Frank in Australia says that's a great angle too. So I'm going to sort this from lowest to highest. Form to Win is a logarithm that's based off time. So we create our own, basically our own speed figure or speed rating, so to say, based off where they finished in races, and we calculate that. So without using anything other than strictly the raw data from Form to Win, it liked the 2 horse, which finished second, and then if I sort it by best, it liked the 6 horse, who was a price, who won, and was nearly 10 to 1. And that's without knowing anything about the Hong Kong circuit, not taking into account trip. It's purely speed derivative. So that was race 1 today at Happy Valley. Let me see race 2. I don't believe Form to Win had this winner. No, but we can try to create a filter and see if we would have found this winner. So I'm actually going to move myself off here. And so this race is at 1,800 meters. So I'm going to go in here, and for my distance, well, 1,600 to 1,800 is what I was going to use. Let me see if I apply the filter. Okay, so the winner, he was the third ranked horse on best using that those distance parameters. And where was he on average? Well, he got pushed down on average. So let me try to even fine tune this even more. Well, there you go. So the key thing about form to win is the bigger sample sizes that you have, you can really start to drill down the information in terms of your filters, like what distances you're looking at. So I only looked at races between 1,700 meters and 1,800 meters. This particular race was at 1,800 meters, and Form to Win had the number 3 horse ranked first, who went off at a little over 9-1. So as you get more accompanied with the app, you can start to really dive into the filters and play around with them to see what's going to work, because every circuit's going to be a little bit different. But one like here, without any filters being applied, average Form to Win time, the winner was 3rd ranked, and he was the 2nd ranked in terms of best Form to Win, and he was a little bit of a price too, at a little over 8-1. Race 4 today. We'll click Analyze. Average. No, the winner was not there on average best. He was kind of pushed down. So let's see, using a filter. If you click on this tab here, it tells you the distance of the race. So we're doing 1,000 meters. So I'll click on filter and we'll look at, well, just maybe drill it down strictly, look at races at 1,000 meters. Hit apply. So it didn't have it there, but he was ranked 3rd. The winner was ranked 3rd on average Form to Win time. Let me go change that, drill it down even more. No, I mean he was the 3rd ranked horse on Form to Win, even trying to drill it down using the filters. But it put you onto some horses deeper if you were playing the exotics. The 9 horse fit a little bit, and he finished 2nd. Form to Win had him ranked 4th. So that race wasn't, as profitable maybe. Race 5 today at Hong Kong. The winner, Bigger Champ, was ranked number 1 on the average Form to Win time without any filters, and the best was Telecom Smart. So that's basically 1-2 that Form to Win put you on to. And then race 6, average Form to Win time, the winner was ranked 2nd. Best, he was ranked 2nd also. So the Form to Win is really, if you only look at horses that are finishing in the top 3 using those criteria, it's had today was a fairly successful day. Let's see what it did in race 7. Average. No, I think this is the race that we were talking about Steve was talking about with Dick Powell today about race 7 at Hong Kong, and we did not find the winner using Form to Win, but it did find the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place finishers, and they were decent prices. The winner was a nice price too. Went off at 13-1. And then we'll go to race 8. Average Form to Win time, no. Best, no. So we wouldn't have had the winner there, but I will try to drill this down a little more. We've got 1,200 meter race, 1,100 to 1,250. Let's see if that. So using a filter and changing the distance and only looking at races between 1,100 meters and 1,250 meters, the race distance was 1,200. The best Form to Win time and the top 3 had the 1-2 finishers. And the average pushed the winner down. But the winner was, went off at nearly 50-1. Was 3rd ranked on best. So it's an interesting angle to use when analyzing the Hong Kong races. The average form to win time and the best, if you start looking at those top three, and you can drill it down, you can use the filters to drill down the information even more, but it had a fairly successful day today to put you onto horses, and that's with zero handicapping. That's just going off purely off our form to win figures. So it has value, especially with the Hong Kong product. And I will now switch it over to go back to North America. And it takes a minute to load when you first start it, just because it is loading the past 2 days of results and also the next 2 days of entries and races. So this is today. And let's see if we have a race going off relatively soon. We've got Keeneland going off in a couple minutes. This looks like it's a 1 1/8 race, 9 furlongs on the dirt. Now, I'm going to hit comparator because I want to see, unlike Hong Kong where I know I'm going to get plenty of starts per horse, some of these allowance races and claiming races, especially maiden races, we don't have much data on, so I want to make sure that we have plenty of data to work with. So here's total starts for each horse: 3, 4, 4, 4, 3, 1. So a decent data set. Obviously, the more data, the better. But I want to sort this by distance and then pack it. So this is a quick summary of the horses' performance. Their latest race is always to the left-hand side. So this horse finished off the board with a 45 Equibase speed figure in his last start. This horse, the number 2, finished third with a 93. So this is just a quick summary. Obviously, the more red is the better. Red for us is first, green is second, yellow is third, fourth is blue, and then anything below fourth is brown. But that's just a quick way to analyze stuff and see who's coming in, who won their last race. But we really want to dive into the analyzation part. And once again, I've got a lot of data here, so I'm going to take some of this out. So I'm only looking at the information that I find to be valuable. And we're going to sort by average form to win time. So right off the bat, form to win without any filters likes Promise Keeper, who looks like he's we've got 2 favorites, or horses that are basically going off at the same price: Promise Keeper and Kinetic Sky. Actually, Promise Keeper just took some money, so he's the slight favorite. But Form to Win does like him just based off average form to win time, and he fits on best too. But let's dive a little bit deeper. So this race is at 9 furlongs. So I'm going to create a filter. I only want to look at races maybe between 8, a mile and a 16th, and 9 furlongs, or a 1 1/8. And this is, honestly, this is just where the more familiar you become with form to win, you'll have some different angles. I want to look at 2-turn races and not 1-turn races. And I'm trying to really pinpoint the data and only look at races between a 1 1/16 and a 1 1/8. And let's see if it makes any difference in terms of how form to win ranks them. So we hit apply. And so it moves Kinetic Sky up a bit, and the 3 also. Well, the three's a decent price. I mean, the data set's small. He's only run one race between these parameters, between a 1 1/16 and a 1 1/8. But his one race at those distances, he fits on form to win. So he's an interesting play if you were trying to get him involved in the exotics. But obviously, Kinetic Sky, who's the second choice. When I drilled down that information, and without drilling it down, I mean, nothing too creative here, but I would be interested in the 3-horse here, especially for, the bottom of the exotics. Maybe Exacta. I wouldn't play a try in a 6-horse field unless you thought one of the favorites was going to cave. But yeah, the 3-horse would be a bit interesting. And then with the Simbet option, which we have built into Form to Win, you could click on this key here, this little calculator, and this tells you if you were going to Dutch 3 horses to win, which I don't exactly encourage you to do, but if you were trying to play a horse that was not the favorite, and 2 horses that weren't the favorite, and you wanted to try to bet the race, then you could go in here, you can change how much you wanted to spend. So I'll just hit 50, and maybe we try to get Promise Keeper out of the equation for win honors. So if you were to bet this race $50, you would put $7 on the 3 horse for a payout of $135, and $43 on the 2 for a payout of $133. So an ROI of 267% if you wanted to place that wager. And it is fake money, so you could just say create all slips. Now, if you really wanted to bet the race and you wanted to bet real money, if you had an AmWager account, you could bet it straight through. You would click on these buttons and it would go through AmWager, which we encourage everyone to have an AmWager account. But that's always a nice option. But if you're at the track, you could just walk up to the teller and give them this combination, and those are the payouts that you're looking at. But this is strictly, right now, this is just the sim bet, so I'll just say create all bets. And then we will come back to that race in 1:20. And you know what? I know they got some rain today. Let me see what they're calling. No, they're still calling the main track fast. The turf is now good. But the great thing about Form to Win is that if the track were off, you could just come in here and where it says track condition, unclick fast, wet fast, frozen, heavy, and just look at the horse's performances on good, sloppy, or muddy, and just hit apply. And if that were the case, well, these horses didn't run these horses haven't run on an off track, but the 5 horse has. Core Values has run on an off track, and so those are his numbers. But I wouldn't put much credence into that because none of these horses run on an off track, so you'd have to lean on your pedigree work for that. But it is a nice option to have. That you can just look, you can really drill down the information based on the track condition. Like so for the turf racing, which I believe the next race is on the turf. Okay, this race at Keeneland is a mile and a 16th on the turf, and let me check how they've got it rated. They've got it rated good, so they did get some rain today. So we're going to go ahead and we'll analyze this Keeneland race 8. Average Form to Win without any filters, silenced and Opry are a little bit interesting. But I really want to drill this information down. So I'm going to look at races. This particular race is at a mile and a 16th, but I want to look at races between a mile and a mile and a 16th. So I just go in here, adjust 8 furlongs to 8.5. Track condition. Now, first I'm just going to hit all turf. And Form to Win still likes the 9, silenced. And the reason why you're seeing odds -1 is because I'm using live odds right now, and since race 7 hasn't gone final, you're seeing AmWager odds, but you could switch it to Equibase to see the morning line. So silenced is 8-1 on the morning line, and he fits on Form to Win both without the filter and with the filter that I put on. But let's see if he changes any. If I only look at races that are rated good yielding soft. Okay, so he has no data. He's never run on a turf course rated good. So something to think about. But the 12 horse has, and his average Form to Win on a surface rated good, soft, or yielding, he has the highest rating on Form to Win, as well as this horse, the 4 horse, on a spree. So, you got to decide what you're going to do. I would probably in this race, I'll click back on all turf. I would probably still use silence. Well, let me look at his breeding. You just click summary, and then you can get more information. Okay. Sherry DeVoe's the trainer by Arch. Dan was Forrest Valentine. Can't read too much into that in terms of how he's going to run on good. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember how his pedigree runs on soft turf, but I would be interested in and him strictly off his turf form with 3 starts at these distances. And then I would probably, for some of these other horses, depending on the odds, I'll take off Firm and Hard. And Vintage Print and On the Spree have proven form over that type of surface. So those are some of the horses I'd be interested in. I mean, Opry, who is the morning line favorite, got pushed down a bit, which is also a good angle to use. You know, not only horses that move up on form to win, but horses that are pushed down. So on turf rated good, softer yielding, Opry's run twice, and his races were not as fast as some of the others. So I would be interested in this next race at Keeneland. Race 8, Silenced, and maybe the 12 and the 4 a bit underneath with their proven form on good. So we'll just have to come back to that and see how it works out. I will take this back off. And you know, now that I see the 12 also fits, he fit both on turf that was rated good and firm, because he's the third rated horse on all turf performances. So yeah, the 12's interesting too at 6 to 1, but I like that 8 to 1 price. We'll see how Silence runs in that 8th at Keeneland. But let's go home here and let's see. Well, let's see if Form to Win would have had any winners at Aqueduct today. Okay, so this is a claiming race at Aqueduct. Not a huge field, 6 horses, but 8 furlongs, going a mile on the dirt. Analyze. So I will create a filter. Well, first let me see how much data we had to work with. Yeah, 7 starts, 10, 5, 9. So we got a good data set. Summary, packed. Analyze. So I will look at races maybe between 8 and 8.5. Sometimes I use for mile races, sometimes I use 8 and 8.5, and sometimes I use 7 furlongs to 8, depending on if I know how the track's playing. But using 8 and 8.5, Form to Win like the winner, Obsessed, but you know, was a short price favorite, so nothing spectacular there. But I mean, without taking into account any trip or trainer angles or anything, just pure speed, he won, and Form to Win liked him. So we'll go to race 2 today at Aqueduct. This race is an 8 furlong maiden claiming on the dirt. Another small field, lots of scratches. You know, the 2 horse has plenty of starts. He had 10, but some of these other, well, 5 starts. So we'll look and see. Without any filters. And then I will use the same filter that I used for the last mile race. So I'll only look at races between 8 and 8.5. Track condition, all dirt. Okay, it pushed the winner down. He didn't fit using that filter. He was the 4th choice, excuse me. But he fit on best. But once again, he was the favorite. I wonder if I would have changed this from 7 furlongs to 8. Maybe he was coming out of sprint races. No, I mean, he was ranked 2nd, just looking at 7 to 8. But another angle using Form to Win that I found that works especially in these claiming, look at the horse that ran the last time out highest figure. So we will sort and pack this. So this horse ran a 7, 37, 37, 48, and 57. So especially in these claiming races, that's an angle that I find that works a good amount of time using the, you got to always include the horse that ran the last highest out figure, especially in some of these cheaper races. We'll go back to the Aqueduct 3. This is an allowance race, 6 furlongs on the dirt. Just without any filters. This is how Form to Win liked them. but I'm going to only look at races between 6 and 6.5 and see if that makes a difference. And all dirt. So the winner was ranked second on average form to win time, but once again, small field. And best, he was pushed down to third, but he was a short price favorite. Race 4 with the maiden special weight. Now, we probably don't have enough data to work with. Yeah, let's see. 3 starts, 6 starts, 6 starts, 0, 0. So with these maiden races, we don't have really enough data to make an educated decision. So you're just going to have to lean on traditional PPs, or if you know how certain trainers do with first-time starters. That's always important. Also breeding. But I wouldn't put too much stock when you're only looking at a limited sample size. But race 5 today at Aqueduct, 6.5 furlongs on the dirt, without any filters, like the 1-2. But I will look at races between 6 and 6.5 to really drill down the information. Track condition, all dirt. And we wouldn't have had the winner. So let me see. But it is a climbing race, so let's see if the last out highest figure was the winner. 70, 73, 76, 59, 74, 72. So no, the last highest out figure was the 8 horse who ran a 77. The winner ran a 72. So that particular angle would not have worked. Actually, the second horse ran a 73. So no winner there. Aqueduct race 6. Form to Win had the winner, but it was a short price favorite without any filters. So I'm not going to go too much into that. And it looks like this next race is about to go off in 22 seconds. Let's see if I can handicap it real quick. So 6, I want to look at races between 6 and 6.5 to really drill down the information. Track condition, all dirt, apply. Okay, so I drilled down the information too much because you can see we have no data on these horses using those parameters. So a lot of these horses may be cutting back in distance, or they were going shorter, or no, actually, they just don't have many races. It isn't a allowance race, but we've got 0 data on them. So using Form to Win, not a bettable race, just because there's too much unknown information here. So we will not mess around with those. But like I said, you've got all the tracks that are running here in the US to play around with. You've got the last 2 days of results, and then you've got tomorrow's action. And I have an interest in Keeneland tomorrow. Tomorrow's their Maker's Mark Mile, which I believe is race 9. And I suspect the turf is going to, I don't know how it can be firm. I don't know how much rain they got, but they weren't rated firm yesterday, I don't believe either. I know they got some additional rain today. So it's probably going to have some give to it, so I may factor that in when looking at these races. Without any filters, it likes Raging Bull and Ride a Comet. I particularly, I'm biased. I've been on the Ride a Comet bandwagon for a couple years now, and he didn't run his best race last time out at Santa Anita, but I'm married to him already, so I'll probably have to include him some way. And I think he fits actually when I did the race using the hard PPs, but without any, not looking at traditional PPs. Form to Win, kind of like Raging Bull, Ride a Comet. Raging Bull likes to come from a bit out of it, so if the turf has some give to it tomorrow, I don't know if he's going to be able to close into it, but we'll see. But let's look at races. Let's really try to drill down this information. So this is a mile on the turf. I guess I'll look at a mile and a 1/16. So 8 to 8.5 furlongs. Track condition, all turf. It like Raging Bull hit the road. Ooh, Flying Scotsman's a price too, at 30 to 1. But if you use the best average form to win, it's it's Ride a Comet. So I may have to bet back and see how he does. It's funny though, because when I looked at this race, using the regular PPs, Get Smoking was interesting, breaking from the rail. He has speed. He proved last time out at Tampa he doesn't have to have the lead. Flying Scotsman, I believe, there'll probably be some sort of a pace presence there, but Get Smoking can sit off of it. But on form to win, he's not as fast as some of these others. Not saying he can't win by any means. I'm just saying for a horse that I was interested in, he's been moved down some, even on the best. But now let's see if the turf is not rated firm. See if it moves anybody up or anybody down. So right now you've got Raging Bull, Ride a Comet, Flying Scotsman. And when we apply this filter, wow, it still likes Raging Bull. It moved my Ride a Comet down a bit, but that race, 130, so let me see how, if he was running at Ride a Comet. Yeah, he was running at a mile and a 16th, where, let me see, some of these others, like Flying Scotsman was running it. Using this filter, we were only looking at his 8 furlong races. So obviously, he's running a quicker time at 8 furlongs than some of these others that are running 8.5. I really want to drill, well, I don't really want to drill it down anymore because this race is at a mile. So, I don't know, Flying Scotsman fits on his 2 races that he's run on, turf rated anything other than firm. So maybe for your deep exotics, Flying Scotsman, I mean, you're just going to have to make a decision on Raging Bull, a horse that likes to come from out of it. He fits on figures, but closers on a turf course that has some give to it, sometimes it's hard for them to make up ground. So this is who Form to Win likes, using those parameters. And I'll go back to all turf in case it is rated, firm, or it's more firmer than having give to it. But Ride a Comet's best race, he fits along with Raging Bull and Flying Scotsman. But the fact that Flying Scotsman at 30 to 1 is there, both on firm and a turf course that has some give to it, he would be an interesting price play from an exotic standpoint. But yeah, that's what how Form to Win likes the Makers Mile tomorrow at Keeneland, which should be a good race. Hopefully, no big scratches. Yeah, interesting. I mean, I'm biased, so I'm gonna keep off Ride a Comet regardless. But we'll see. But that's the beauty of Form to Win. You can get in there and you can change the way the course is rated. Don't only look at that data if the races change throughout the day. And like I said, you can get in here, get around, look at the past data and play around with it, and use some of these filters to see if you would have found the winner. But we encourage you to just go to Form to Win, formtowin.com, or find it in your app store. Download the app. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter, or if you have my cell, you can send me a text, or on Twitter you can DM me. DMs are open. So just appreciate your time. If you have any questions, let us know. Look forward to analyzing some more races using Form to Win for Saturday's card, and I'll be talking about that a little bit on Steve Big Show tomorrow. So thank you for your time, and I'll catch you.